They'll lynch you, but he did, and he laughs.
Yes, everybody, Russ and the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well, my friends. If you're new around here, welcome. You've joined at the wrong time. Anyway, thanks for joining us. And subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss any content we've got coming up. Of course, after today, we all, we start talking about the Larnaca game and all that type of stuff coming up. But anyway, I hope you're all safe and well. A little bit laggy. I do apologise on the old internet today for some reason. As we always do the day before the night after the day, or day before the night after, we do the ratings, which we'll be doing in a minute. Let's get some views. There's a lot of comments on it already. Here we go. I think it's better. I think it was better. Benny, Bowen, Emerson, and Paqueta for man of the match. All of them outstanding. They were trying too hard to win the game. A couple of questions before the ratings. I'll be on my way to work, so I'll be able to comment. Why is Emerson not taking corners? Well, he did. Yeah, hello. He took a few corners. He didn't hit the. It was a mixed bag from him, I think, to be honest. How was there not a warning for the abuse on Ings on corners? I think partly because I think we had a soft penalty. I think, in all honesty, it was a soft one. I think the trouble is, and they even out a little bit. And the second one on Ings on Buendia, yeah, that's the right around. I think that was more a penalty than Paqueta penalty, to be honest. Is Moyes deliberately trying to piss players off? No, I don't think so. And that's I don't think he is trying to deliberately piss people off. I think he's doing what he wants. His tactic, and it just seems that certain players aren't fitting the tactic at the moment. We'll talk about Cornet as well, because I think there was a lot of criticism about his decision about Cornet. I kind of get it, but I didn't get Howie's response to it, if that makes sense. How are we not talking about Areola that kept it? How are we not talking about that Areola save that kept it? Yeah, I mean, it was. Yeah, it was, Scott. I think Areola isn't Teflon as well. I think actually, in the same way, I think that goal conceded with Watkins, the anti-Fabianski brigade would have said, Fabianski didn't dive. I don't think Areola did very well for that goal either. He hasn't. For me, the one thing I'm slightly perplexed a bit about Areola is, yeah, he's a great shot stopper, but he doesn't command his box. The man is so big, like physically. You look at how Peter Schmeichel used to do it, or Petr Cech, or these big goalkeepers would command their box. He doesn't command his box more than I'd like him to. I would like him to say, yeah, look, and dive over players to get the ball. He doesn't seem to do it as much. I don't think Fabianski does it particularly well either. But for me, Areola is more naturally suited to it because he's so big. Anywho, let's move through. We've got so many comments. Emerson did take some corners, but he was not great at them. That's why Rice took over. I can't be the only one that thought we were shite again yesterday, aside from Benny. Thought we were better, but then from a low base, in all honesty, Happy Emirates, we are doomed. We're doomed if Moyes sets the team up not to lose every week. One goal against, we can't attack due to his. Yeah, I mean, if we've got 12 games left, 12 points, we're in 36 points if we don't win any more games and we draw every game. But yeah, you're probably right. We've been shit for every year. The table never lies. Indeed, what was subbed on Paqueta for? Well, he did that because Paqueta was going to get sent off. Paqueta his head had gone. You could tell. And you could Casemiro against for Man United. That's why he did it. I can see why he did it. He got a yellow card, and that's the trouble with Paqueta sometimes. He gets a bit hot-headed. And that was, to his credit, if I'm saying that, a good idea to take him off for that reason, because Paqueta, I think we had enough on that pitch to with Paqueta off the pitch to probably have got another goal. We didn't, but I thought we had. But I'd rather have Paqueta available for the next 3 games than not, if that makes sense. So I can understand it. Has anyone told Moyes we could use 5 subs? Agreed. Benny, he must be taking the piss. He had to hit Bandor. He looks good, but never has any results. I want to know what Aragoed was doing for the Villa goal. Ball watching, and then blames the others again. Yeah, he's not at fault at all for that goal. I don't think. I was pissed off when Paqueta was taken off. Me too. But I understood why. I can understand why. And I think actually sometimes that's why I do the player ratings a day or so afterwards, so I can reflect a little bit. Some people do it straight away, which is great, instant reaction to the. But I like to sort of think a little bit about it and come back to my thoughts. Hi, Ludders. Hope you're well. Andy's in the chat. Michael, the West Ham website had the squad numbers all wrong on the. Oh, it doesn't surprise me. Hope you're well. Sorry, I can't get over. Was out for 4 months and was picked ahead of Skamaka. We'll talk about Cornet. I think. What was that music you were playing before the match? You need to look at your playlist. What music? The thing is, a lot of it is done by his video content. So his videos, I don't play that. So that's me. I need to get some of those picture frames from my old shirts, as everyone seems to be doing it. Who was the originator? Oh, the substitution. Yeah, but I think Fornals, ideally you would probably put on Skamaka, but I think you needed a midfielder, somebody could Fornals' energy. I think the trouble was we'll talk about Skamaka in a bit. I've got a few views. You're totally right. And also, to be fair, I think, Villa's subs were, to be said, some of them I thought complimented us as well. The fact is, Bowen was having a field day, I think, against Javi Moreno. And so they had to bring on Lucas Digne and they took off Ollie Watkins to put on Callum Chambers. And so it's really strange. Hope you are well. I'm very well, David. To pick Cornet ahead of Skamaka tells you there's a problem. I disagree. With that, and I'll tell you why. For me, so for me, I think when there's the substitution for, we'll do it now for me. The substitution for taking Ings off for Cornet was a like-for-like substitution. So that's why I think he did it. And in essence, on paper, it made sense to me because actually, Villa were playing a high line. We were going to try and knock a ball out behind. Fast player. I think Antonio would have done it instead of Cornet if Antonio was probably fit, to be fair. And trying to break through. Defensively, they're not the quickest. So that was what we were trying to do. And it almost worked. Now, the issue is Skamaka could have been already on the pitch. Now I don't think Cornet was favoured ahead of Skamaka because actually that position, Skamaka wouldn't be able to do that. Skamaka wouldn't be able to have the pace to outrun Mings, Konsa, Callum Chambers. He wouldn't, but Cornet would. Now the question is, why did it take to the 80th minute? That was the issue for me. But clearly, that was what he was trying to do. I could, he was trying to keep it. They were trying to sort of keep this. He said, play for the draw type thing, and then last 10 minutes, try and go for it. And that's what we know. We know that's what he does. So why are we assuming any different? Do you know what I mean? But anyway, but that's why I don't think it was. I don't think it was a snub for me. That bit wasn't a deliberate snub at Skamaka. What would have been was, why is someone like Souček still on the pitch when actually, or as Happy Emirates says, take off Paqueta for Skamaka maybe, and play him in a 10, and I think he would have done a very good job there. Not as pissed off. Yeah, Patman wasn't happy. Did you hear about Moyes' slap comment in interview? No, I didn't. Skamaka is gone in the summer. Moyes doesn't trust him. Afternoon all, still a point. Indeed, still 17th, still at the relegation zone. Moyes always needs a scapegoat, someone to blame. Skamaka is Moyes' new Benny. Team are going to pot confidence-wise. More shocking, Souček wasn't subs for Skamaka. Exactly, that's what I mean. League form has been bad for at least a year. Now you think Moyes would have a clue by now. I remember the good old days when we were still a few years back, still fifth. Oh yeah, I remember them. The subs I would have made would have been Macca for Ings at 50, Fornals for Souček 65, Cornet for Pac-Man. Now that's I mean, you're right. We're going to do the ratings in a minute anyway, if we have time. But for me, the best players on the pitch were our two wingers. So what does that tell you about the game? It tells you there's a lot of wing play, there's a lot of balls out wide, and there's a lot of good crosses coming in. Now, to all intents and purposes, Danny Ings is not the right striker to play in that situation. And that's the trouble for me. Moyes plays the wrong strikers for the wrong games. This game, who knows Danny Ings better, but his former teammates who have been playing with him for 18 months, 2 years, something like that. They know exactly the runs he's going to make. They do it in training every other day. Skarmaka, for example, a pissed off Skarmaka, it's a bit like a pissed off on Arnautovic. That's what you want. Someone who's going to say, now, granted, his physical data, he doesn't, for me, Skarmaka doesn't win as many aerial duels as he should do. He tends to win them when he drops back into midfield and flicks them on. He doesn't have that. He doesn't, despite the fact that he's 6'5" and a big lad, he doesn't put himself about enough. And I understand that. But for me, that situation, you wanted, rather than Ings commanding those centre-back partnerships, Skarmaka, because then the ball's coming in, he's got better chances, rather than relying on Souček trying to do late runs into the box, which it seemed they were trying to do, and maybe Ings being around for the second drop ball. It wasn't working. And that's the thing. When it doesn't work, it never changes. And then she said the Ings substitution for me was a like-for-like substitution for Cornet. What's the point? Might even walk away during international. He's been moised. He ruined strikers. It's not working for Ings this game. A big man. Exactly, Michael. Kurt was crap and stayed on the pitch. Take down the off and put Ongs was a crap. He still has Souček on. Yeah. And you know, and I know you can tell, you know why, because he didn't want to lose a midfield. He didn't go for it. He didn't go for it. But again, we know exactly. So why are we so, what's the word? So maybe we'll say delusional. Why are we so delusional that we think he's going to change? He isn't going to change. This is going to be the type of football we need to play, unfortunately, and we will be playing for the rest of this season, because it's going to be tight defensively, try and nick a goal. That's basically what we're going to do. Now, not saying it's the right, because it actually is not. I think, again, Chelsea were for the taking a couple of weeks ago. Villa were for the taking. Those 4 points, if we'd gone for it, would make a huge difference at the end of this season. A huge difference. But it didn't. And shoulda, woulda, couldas, if buts and maybes. So the type of football we're going to be playing, that's the type of football we're going to be playing. We ain't going to do nothing different, are we? We haven't done nothing different for the last 3 years, so it's not going to change. So we know it's going to happen. So we know Souček's going to probably stay on because he wants to keep that sort of blocker, and we know he's not. Very rarely, unless we were losing the game, I think he was. Although because we have seen him being substituted before, but when you're in a position of getting a point, we know Moyes is going to do that and keep it tight, so to speak. But that's what he's going to do. The rumor was back again in Milan. That's Inter Milan. I might talk about it tomorrow, actually. Shepherds are very even off. Congratulations, down the bowl. Just find a way to get in there with the Poxy's chain strikes. Indeed. I don't think there's going to be many people around there, Scott. I think they reckon about 36,000 going to be there. So you won't be around too many people. We just don't play for the middle. We always go wide. We do. Left, right, left, right. And then we go right and we do. All right, a list of mistakes is made off the pitch. I'm running out of paper. Moyes up to his old destroying attacking talent again. Train strikes been cancelled. Fair play. We had plenty of chances, but our two wingers couldn't convert them. Everyone is praising Benny, but he was especially wasteful. Does he know where the top corner is? I think Benny. Acid. I actually thought it was probably one of Benny's better games. I thought both wingers played really well. Really well, I thought. They showed real thrust. Benny's penalty was fantastic. I was thinking, why isn't Ings taking the penalty? But Benny took it instead, and he did a great penalty. Should have probably scored at least one more, I think. But he is wasteful. But then so is Paqueta. I think the choice, the more creative players are, and I think that's a frustration because they seem, if we were trying things and we were like 3 or 4 up and we were all in, then people wouldn't mind. But that's always the way they play. It's always, and I think that's one of the issues why Moyes sometimes doesn't pick Benrahma, is because he does give the ball away a lot. But that's because he's trying things. Everyone's talking to each other. Made one pass every 10 minutes. I think it would have been a different result if Antonio played. Possibly, yeah. Danny Ings had 10 touches. Didn't even see that. Yeah, you're about right. Should West Ham have had 2 strikers and Scummer? Yes, exactly. We know that. I would love on Thursday to go, because as I said, it's the last game before the international break. It's the last game before we play any football until the 2nd of April. Wouldn't it be nice? Play 2 up front. maybe even go 4-4-2. Do you know what I mean? Just fucking go for it. Full squad. Cornet starts. Skelmacher and Ings, Bowen, Paqueta, right? Just go for it and just show people that we can play. Just to give the fans something to sing about that before we have that sort of 2.5 weeks off. Because then when we come back, by then, if everything's gone against us, which it could apparently do, if the teams around us, because some teams are playing twice before we play again. Obviously, we're meant to play by Man City, but if that happens, we'll end up being 19th and 24 points, and we'll be 3 points behind Bournemouth, 3 points behind Leicester, 4 points behind Southampton, who will be playing that day, 4 points behind Everton, and 5-6 points between Forest, Wolves, and Palace. But that's if those teams all win. That's the worst case scenario, but the best case scenario is we stay where we are. But will that happen? Probably not, knowing our luck, to be honest. The results have been a cruel mistress to us, but it's still in our hands. We've still got 12 games. I think there's three probably home and the 3 away games. I would say are free hits. The likes of Man City, Man United at home, teams like that. And there's probably 3 home, 3 away where we need to pick points up. We need to ideally win, but we need to pick, And so those are the 6 I think we need to win. Will we win all 6? Probably not. We'll probably get random points away to Man City or something like that's the West Ham way, but it's still very much in our hands. Moyes apparently said to the female that he'd slap her or something in jest. Oh, there we go. Anton muttered the words Moyes out. Did he really? Another slack comment. His position becomes untenable. Southampton 6 point. If you hear about the Irish running across the pitch to slap the shit out of, it's just me. Fair enough, Surreal. Benny was one of our better players. Yeah, he was. I thought Aguerd made some classy diagonal, but weren't particularly good at receiving them. Agreed. Come on, guys. We all know we are down. Can't score, can't defend. We are shambles. Lovely, thank you. Acid, I'd like to see Bowen and Benny swap sides. Afraid some results will put us in relegation. It would do, as I've just said. Moyes' treatment of Skelmacher is just criminal. I hope the players ignore Moyes and start attacking. I personally don't think we deserve the point. Trying to see positives, but it's meh. Good old-fashioned 4-4-2 with Benny given a free roll. Well, how's that work in a 4-4-2? That's working a 4-4-2. Why does it? Benny will be left wing. Reckons we are flaky when we came in second time. He says we're looking flaky again, and that's the problem. Oh, well. Let's go for a few of these comments. Everyone's talking to each other. Every week we're getting down and say we still got games. We still do. We still do. Innit? I'll try and bring some light to this shade. That's me. That's my job. That's what I do. We've got enough people, We have to, if I start getting doom, I mean, I'm pissed off. I mean, we should have won that game. We should have won that game for sure. I thought Villa weren't great at all. I thought also, yeah. I mean, we're Villa's Brighton. We are. That's 11 times we've played them and they haven't beaten us. I think we've won 7, drawn 5, or drawn 4 rather. And I mean, and actually, when we went 1 down, what I thought was really nice for anyone at the ground would have heard this. We went 1-0 down. We've been playing quite well, to be honest, haven't we? And then, rather than all the West Ham fans start, booing or whatever, there was a huge, come on, and I was like, yes, see, that is the West Ham fan base. We'll stick behind it. If you put the effort in on the field, we'll respond. And that's what happened in that first half. Because I thought 1-0 down, that's it. We're going to be absolutely kaput. The fans it's going to be another Burnley. Actually, because we were trying, it was a different. The fans were like, "Come on!" And actually, I think and they were all pissed off, all really pissed off that we didn't get nothing. I know some people say respect the point. Maybe end of the game, maybe end of the season, we might do, but not at the moment because there were 3 points there. Afternoon, Rich, hope you well. Massive 3 points. Afternoon. Massive win, 3 points. What shirt are you wearing? Was that Portsmouth? Anyway, up to 50. Who's up to 15th? I don't know. Who's up to 15th? Let me know. Watkins could have had a hat trick. Yeah, we just had Benny smashing over. This played well mantra is must be watching a different game. Benny needs to learn to shoot away from the keeper, but not wide. That's it. That's what you want. Fair play. Again, we had the whole goal to aim at, and what did we do? Straight at the bloody keeper. Why are you holding oversized tweets? I don't know. I just got things on my desk. Are they oversized? They're not oversized. I just got things on my desk. I start playing with. The fan base has been very kind this season. I agree, Michael. It has. I think the fan base has been very, we'll say the attending fan base. There's no disrespect to people who are not attending the game, but obviously the attending fan base has been very respectful. I think they've been very kind. There's been a few boos. I think the away fans tend to obviously the way they've had less to cheer about than the home fans. But even that's not splitting hairs really. I think you're totally right. And I think, yeah, and as I said, fans will always turn up. The fans will always, when Bubbles comes on, we want to play Bubbles and they'll sing. Afterwards, there's a big roar. And then it's down to the players. And to be honest, the first half, we came out there, obviously we came out the traps. We played very well. I thought Bowen was very good down there. We'll do the ratings in a minute. I keep saying, I thought Bowen played well. And, there was a lot of, I thought, good interplay. I thought Bowen had Javier Moreno's number, to be honest. I was surprised that Unai Emery took so long to bring Moreno off and bring on Digne, but he did. And then they scored. The fans responded because there was enough in the tank that time. There's like enough in the bank that time because they've been playing well. If you'd playing atrociously from the beginning and that goal had gone in, the fans would have booed. But they showed on the pitch that they were trying. And if it doesn't work, if you hit the crossbar, if you hit the keeper, that's issues with just on the pitch. But for me, they were trying, and that's all I can ask. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out. It hasn't worked out for us this game again. And you say, I think tactically, I think he got it wrong. Definitely, as we said, I think he picked the wrong striker for the wrong game. Sees how many times Bowen made runs up to no one in the box. That's what I mean. Exactly. The fans are having the life sucked out of them by Moyes' infallible tactics. Good word, Andy. Agreed, Matt. That's his frustration, tunnel vision. Yeah, I was shouting, come on your eyes. I think I've lost my voice. Going down on these recent performances, subs yesterday's, taking off a striker and don't bring Schumacher on. The guys lost the plot. Sorry for being negative. I'm always out. Black Country, I think for me, looking at it the next day, like reflecting on it, the Ings for Cornet sub, I totally get. I can totally understand that one. But what I don't understand is why, A, it took so long, and B, why Schumacher wasn't on the pitch already. Now, I'm not saying, people go, Schumacher's, Cornet's ahead of him now. No, it wasn't. For that exact reason, what they were trying to do, balls over the top, Schumacher's never going to beat him on for pace. But Cornet could, easily, and could beat that centre-back partnership. And I'm saying Schumacher couldn't. Schumacher should have been on for Paqueta, I would suggest, but it didn't happen. Feels sore after warming up for so long. He sits there looking depressed. That will go to the last game of the season. All the teams down and fighting. Yep, totally right. No, I still think Palace are going in there. Palace are in there. Palace are definitely in there. The next two games, I think they got Brighton away for their sort of random derby, and then they've got Arsenal away, and that's before the international break. They're up shit creek without a paddle, mate. Rice with Idol right back at the moment. Oh, really interesting. Fair enough. Moyes needs sacking. Everyone's starting to dig out Sullivan, and Moyes will be happy. They scored on their first attack, totally against the run of play. You're totally right, they did. And that's why the West Ham fans responded, didn't you? Fair, carry on. I thought that the ground was empty with the start. Lots of empty seats. I think it was trouble getting there. I think trains and people stand for a last pint, don't they, last minutes. Are we resigned to see Moyes out the season? Yes, we are. I think we are, Acid. So I think actually, to be honest, regardless of what happens in the summer, I don't think it'll be in the summer. To be honest. But regardless of that, despite what you've heard elsewhere, I don't think that's the case. I think for me, we've got 12. It's such a cliche. 12 cup finals, isn't it? We've got 12 cup finals. And us as a fan base can be that 12 man. We can be. And, we have to give it our best shot as a fan base. And hopefully that will then replicate on the pitch. In it. And we've been relegated before. And I've been in those situations. It's horrible. It's horrible being relegated. Not only from a fan's perspective, but I've worked within the club. It's horrible. It's horrible when we get relegated. You see half as many, all the people whose jobs depend on being in the Premier League at the club, the likes of the tea ladies and the kit men. You don't see them. Because they can't afford to keep them. Actually, news at 10 tonight. We'll do a good story about that. There's an interesting article about what's going to happen with the shareholders if we get relegated. They may have to reconsider their position as shareholders and stuff. So again, that buggers everything up as well in terms of stability. Not necessarily because you want a stable, particularly when you're trying to then go up again. You want a stable together network of the fans and everything else, and I don't think you'll have that then. We are too narrow in defence. Totally agree. We didn't put no pressure on them to run a pass. Oh, Rich is there. Hello, Rich. Welcome, son. Aston, I don't think there's hope in hell that Moyes will be. No, I don't think there will be. Hard to be 12 man when so far. I read your. I'll come back to that, Fred. Yes. No, yeah, okay. No, I get that. But again, can we do anything about that today? No. What can we do as a fan base is, and this is just my opinion. Is right. We've got 12 games. We got to go for it. We know the fans are going to turn up. The fans are going to be there. And they just got to we got to do it. And I sound like Moyes saying it, but I don't mean to sound like Moyes saying it. Where, I hate the expression back the team, not the regime, but that's true. And, players come and go, but the fans don't. And it's our club. And, if we go down, we want to go down fighting, as fans, And so I think the game yesterday was frustrating. We came over a point, I know. And some people say respect the point, but I don't necessarily agree with that because I think there was 3 points for the taking. But the fans responded, when we went down, and that's all we can, and you can see the players with it. If the camera pans in, so I can see the warm up, and you see Rice like being a proper captain, shouting at them, riling them all up, getting them going. You saw Danny Ings doing it as well, and we need to do that as a fan base as well. Apparently, I read Fred's comment wrong. I do apologise, Fred. Hard to change that, but yeah, we've given our own as fans, and it's hitting our heads, and it makes happy. Amaret, we've been doing it for how? You never ask a lady her age, but you've been doing it for 21 years. I've been doing it for 40 years, banging my head against a brick wall. So what's different now than there's, for me, it's the same. It's the same. It is, sometimes it don't go for us. Sometimes it don't fall for us. Sometimes it doesn't, it's the wrong playing style. It's the wrong players on the pitch. It's, we had the whole bond scheme stuff. It was, we've had the change of the ground, but we still turn up and we still sing. So we've been banging. I've been banging my head. I've won nothing in 40 years. I am delusional in that respect. I'm delusional being a West Ham fan because I've won nothing. If you're trying to do something for 40 years and it hasn't changed, why am I assuming it's going to change next week? It ain't. But I still turn up on Thursday and think we're going to play two up front, win 4-0, and then afterwards we'll be like, nah, it is. T-Lane must be 100. Oh, definitely better. When Rice goes to Arsenal, he's going as a defender, which is why I will now start him as a right back. Fair play. We need at least 14 points from 12 games. I've been going through relegated times, many of them rust by the fact that has stuck by him. And if we go down, will you reflect this was avoidable? And I've always said this. Look, we shouldn't be in this position. At the beginning of the season, in the summer, we spent 180 million. Some people go, oh, I always put us down for relegation. But realistically, did you? No. Because you thought good times going to become ahead. It hasn't worked. Of course, mate, hindsight's a great thing, Andy. And you're right. We probably do need 14 points. We do need, as I said, probably about 6 wins and a couple of draws. I think in 5 wins and a draw actually probably be enough, I think, to be honest. There's so many teams down there, and particularly the teams we're playing against. But similarly, if we stay up, we've done it's out by the skin of our teeth. I think it's despite of what's happened off the pitch, in all honesty. But look, end of the day, Andy, we're the only ones who can we can't make the managerial decisions, can we? We can't do anything. We can just give our opinions. I have an opinion, you have an opinion. Same as everyone else. The fact we haven't scored in the first 50, I mean, exactly, you're totally right. We were so slow out the blocks all the time. And I think we could that's something which always has surprised me this season. We used to love Upton Park. Yeah, we did, but Upton Park was a horrible place sometimes. When it was pumping, I think it's one of those things where I think people they select things, and I remember sometimes, and I talk about it quite often because it sticks in my head. Some boring times, boring football, horrible times. The crowd were the same way the crowd was. It could be intimidating for the home fans as well if we weren't playing. Definitely. But you're totally right. It was a unique place. It was a unique place. But again, we're not there anymore now. We can't keep talking, and it's like we can't keep. We got to draw. I'm sounding like David Moyes. I'm walking on. I keep talking about myself. Anyway, Luke, it's very hard to be positive on the terraces when you see what's so expiring. Love the club, hate the tactics, but that's that middle bit. Love the club, and as I said, Acid. I don't know how old you are, but I've loved the club for 40 years. And I will continue to love the club for 40 years. Whether they play Upton Park, London Stadium, Hackney Marshes, you'd still be there, wouldn't you? You'd still be there. And regardless of what league you're playing in, people go, if we started a new club and AFC West Ham and we'll be playing the Ryman, you'd still go and turn up and watch them. I mean, you look at AFC Wimbledon, you look at like the clubs like Wrexham and stuff like that. It's incredible what some of the lower league clubs, but you love your club and that's it. And you always, but the fact is, Andy, as I said, nothing's changed in the last 40 years. I've won nothing in my life apart from the Interstate Cup, but still, I'm 2:00 yesterday. I'm like, come on, you guys, come on, you're gonna do it, and it just happens, isn't it? It just happens. Has a big ugly head banging on the wall last night. Bless old Irish Tommy. I know, but given how much better we performed previously, and now seeing how fed up and miserable is too much right now. Yes, I know what you mean. I totally get it. I totally understand. I know it is. It's not fun football. But to be honest, because of the situation we're in, granted we shouldn't be in this situation, the football's not going to improve for the next 12 games. Or hopefully for the next 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 games because we get to the final of the conference. But it's not going to improve. So, as long as the players on the pitch are putting it in, I can't ask any more of the players. As long as they're putting it in, really, it's not their fault if they're put in the wrong positions or the wrong side's being selected. But it's when they don't try. And like last week, I was mad because last week, that Brighton game, they didn't try. I felt for the first time that not just one or two, but almost the whole team last week weren't trying. And I don't know why. That's what worried me. I need to email you some time tonight about Moyes and the club. Okay, no worries, Maggie. West Ham will stay up in trusting Moyes. Thanks, Rich. Obviously, as an Everton fan, fullback and classic gallows. We're going down for you. That's isn't it? But that acid. That is West Ham, though. That's that gallows humour we've always had. And I think the trouble is we've had a taste of it, innit? And maybe it's maybe. Let me put that cat on the cat amongst pigeons. Not a good metaphor of Kurt Zuma, but maybe because those 2 years playing relatively the same football. Let's be honest, same formations, same relatively defensive first, counter-attacking football, but scoring rather than not scoring. Maybe we overachieved massively. Maybe. Look at someone like Fulham at the moment. I mean, look at Newcastle. I mean, I just said, I mean, Newcastle are not going to. I still believe Newcastle are going to be champions in the Champions League this year. People called me out halfway through the season. Oh, Newcastle! Oh, what are you doing now? They ain't. They'll struggle to get fourth place. They'll end up in the conference in the Europa League next year. And I think maybe we've overachieved. If we stay up, what happens in the summer? Does Moyes get sacked? I don't think he'll be gone. I think he'll be gone in the summer. I think so. But we don't know. You don't know, do we? Again, Matt, we're just speculating. It's your opinion, it's my opinions. We don't know. We don't make the decisions. Why can't Moyes come out and say why he isn't playing Lanzini? He did say it. He said why he isn't playing Skamaka. In the interview, he said his physical data isn't up to scratch where we want it to be. Which is fair enough, if he's not if he's not winning, and I agree to some extent, kinda. He doesn't win as many aerial duels like up, when we sort of knock it up to him. He doesn't win that many. He'll drop off into the midfield and he'll not necessarily be challenged, but then he'll do the flick-ons. So in the role he wants him to play, I know it's not saying it's the right role. It's not the right role for him to play, but I can understand why. But I just didn't get the whole. He would have come on and played brilliantly. I think he'd been playing really well if he came on for Skamaka rather than Fornals, bless him. Richard, the Everton fan, thinks Southampton, Bournemouth, and Forest. Obviously, neither us. We have been at a new stadium for 7 years. Go over it. Just don't go if you hate it that much. London is all my lover. We only stay up by winning games, not drawing, and the setup is to respect the point. Players are unhappy with this approach, so are the fans. The board cannot see the obvious. That's what Greeno says. It takes 19 years to get to the Prem when starting a new club. Yeah, exactly. exactly. Rich has been Everton fan, fair play since 1970. Well done, age 12. Jesus, good luck to you, son. Doesn't think he's at fault. That's his biggest problem. He blames others. We know the answers. Moyes don't. Lost since Irvine left, and he has been found out, but we're not experts. Pass the buck. We didn't play great when Moyes arrived, but we still got to the semis. To be honest, Matt, I don't think the style of football's changed. I just think we're not picking up the points, and so naturally, that's what we look at. I harken back to Thomas Souček. When Thomas Souček first signed for West Ham, he went on a crazy goal run, didn't he? And you forgot that he doesn't pass. You forgot he's not good on the ball. You forgot all this because he was scoring. As soon as he doesn't score, you see his deficiencies. And I think that's the trouble with this. And I think that's where we are now. I don't think the style of football has changed dramatically since Moyes has come in. But we're not winning. So we're not picking up points. We're languishing towards the bottom of the end of the table. And so naturally, we're looking at the deficiencies, why that's not happening. I don't think there's been massive change, and that's the trouble. And that's a bad thing because we haven't changed that much, despite bringing in so much money in terms of bringing in these new players. It hasn't moved on as we wanted it to, which we thought was, that was the master plan. It hasn't. He's had to rebuild this team, and I think if we stay up and we start with this team in transition, then next year, whoever's in the dugout come August will have a real opportunity to do something. But we need to get through this season now. This season's a write-off in the league. Anywhere above from 17 up, I'm happy with the possibility of us, maybe going into, potentially in the Championship. Who knows? But we have 3 weeks change of manager. I think it will happen. I don't think so, Paul. We have a bit. This is the worst we've had since, and it's hard to see anything good. No, it's not the worst. No. It's amongst the worst. It's not the worst. I think Slav's first season was very poor at West Ham at the London Stadium. I thought Pellegrini towards the end was very poor at the London Stadium. It seems we have these peaks and troughs, and we're in a trough at the moment. But I don't think it's the worst I've seen there. But other clubs down the bottom are clearly showing more heart than us. Yeah, they are. We can all but hope if reports of Moyes will manager if we get relegated. Not happening. I don't think that's happening if we get relegated as well. Okay, let's look at the positives. Cornet is back. I think Cornet come back is a fit Cornet for the rest of the season will keep us up. I definitely think that. He brings a lot more directness, He brings pace, which is something we haven't got in the forward sections. He gives us another option as well. He can play obviously left. He can play right. He can play down the middle. He played up front yesterday. He can play as a two if we ever went two up front. I think Cornet will make a massive difference for us. I think him and Paqueta together, maybe with Ben Ram, very sexy football as well. A bit more exciting football as well from him. Again, and Zuma are working great together. I still think there's an issue with Areola. And again, they still, they'd all be going to international duties, but I'd just love it if they didn't. They could spend 2 weeks, the three of them, just working on situations, working on communication, and getting Areola to use his fucking body. He's a big lad. Use it. Bailey has found his shooting boots. Bowie's back in form. I agree. More heart, more belief, and certainly more intent to attack. Although the toxic behaviours is one of the best players we have, and Bowie making a difference. Melios, you're totally right. A player needs game time to prove the manager wrong, but doesn't get it. You're totally right. It's that sort of chicken and egg. He says he needs to get his minutes in. We'll play, and then he can get his minutes in. If players are wrong, showing openly they cannot play this way, which a few have suggested lately, then a surprise point won't happen. I don't think he will, mate. I'll be honest. We didn't play this style of non-football at the start, and definitely not with Lingard. Same thing has happened in the last 16 months. I think the thing is, Lingard was almost like the sort of the joker in the pack. But you think the way we were set up, we were scoring one goal, and like yesterday, we created so many chances, but we just didn't put it away. But normally we'd put one, or but in the previous seasons we'd probably put one or two of those away, but we weren't, and that's the issue for me. We can still scrape upon a point of penalty. Ken, hope you well, my friend. There he is. Most games not enough to intensity, invention, and creativity. I called it at the start of the season that Moyes would be a victim of success, but he should have gone. Of course you did, Ken. There you go. Fair. Okay, I understand what you mean. I understand what you mean. Dream On will not win Con Cup. Soon as we meet team with savvy coach, we're in trouble. So if Skamaka Dayton up to scratch, who is at fault and therefore is at fault? No, I agree. Yep, fair play. Newcastle won't finish in top 8. According to reports, Skamaka has not looked sharp or interested in training. Those reports are meant to be believed. That's the trouble, right? And I was listening to a Nottingham Forest podcast the other day. We've had Greg on from Garibaldi Red. He's a lovely bloke, and they've got Darren Fletch, who's Sky Sports. He's one of their regular guys on there, and he makes a really good point. He says, we only see as fans 90 minutes. We only see 90 minutes window into West Ham or into Forest in their case. We don't know what happens Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday that leads up to the manager's decision on the Sunday. We don't know whether Skamaka is sulking in training. We don't know if he's missing shots. We don't know if it's, and then comes to the team selection. So maybe Ings is looking sharper. So then he puts in Ings instead of Skamaka. We don't know. We generally don't know. We just go with what we think. We think Skamaka should play. A fit Skamaka, a motivated Skamaka, a sharp Skamaka is a fantastic player. But if he's not either of them at the moment, and he plays like he played against Larnaca, disinterested, sulky, is that going to benefit the side? No, it's not. But we don't know that. We can only, so I think sometimes we don't see behind. There's going to be a time, I'm going to tell you in a few weeks' time, where Bowen is going to be shit because Danny would have had her twins. In the same way that Lanzini had his family and was very poor afterwards. Fornals had his family. Declan Rice had his kid. Stuff outside we don't know about. We don't know what's happened with the whole thing, this agency stuff. WSA. Has this played in his mind? He's a 23-year-old lad living in a completely different country. It might have played in his mind. He might be his head completely gone. We don't know. I reckon the big issue is the lack of leadership. I agree. One word, 2 words, Craig Dawson. That's it. Look at Wolves, the Wolves fans. He's on a pedestal with them already. He's only been playing there for 2 months. We won a few teams benefit from COVID. Many others didn't. I believe we seemed to play so well. we played a I think the thing about COVID was, I think, the bigger sides, when you go and play the likes of City and Liverpool at Anfield and Etihad respectively, you didn't have the fans there, and you did have a chance. And and actually the same with this season now. To be fair, people all over the place are just picking up random results all the time. It's about starting an impact sub. I totally agree. We're not winning because we're not scoring from set pieces. I totally agree. That is it's a massive thing. He's somewhere else. With that being said, his value is sadly, yeah, indeed. Would love to see him take Suchek role. I think we all would love to see Suchek role. Moyes has got beef with Skamaka. Well, that's what we assume, don't we? We assume that. Ings and Ings do Benny. Oh no, that'd be lovely. Has to start Skamaka. He doesn't have to, Leo. Paul. We want him to, but again, if he might go on strike. If he went on strike, we can't play him then. Happy comment with minutes for stalwart. Moyes doesn't know how to play sexy football. No, he doesn't. Can't give ratings. Has got a disappointment now. No worries. I'm going to have to go in a minute, so I'm not going to have time to do ratings either. I think we should, but I bet it doesn't start when Barmer. It'd be nice to see where. But does he play corner? He's only getting 15 minutes when Benny starts. Well, I think there's not. For me, there's that left out. It gives Benny a bit of a kick up the bum. Did it really? And that might be why you've seen an improvement in Benny in the last couple of games, because he was brilliant. Then he went off the boil, and the last 3 or 4 games, he's upped his game. Is it because Cornet's on the bench and he knows that could be his natural replacement? Possibly. Isn't going to win games. You're right, but he could have done. He could have done yesterday, he? Cornet was offside. He could have done. I think that's the trouble. I think they rest on this coulda, woulda, shoulda mentality. Hi Russ, hi Steve. This manager is with Lula Guy, one of the worst we've had. He ruined Sunderland and he's doing the same to us. Question: if the worst happens, how many players stay? That sounds like a good video I might do during the international break. Plays for Italy and sends a message even though it's against England. I don't give a shit. I wish he does. To be honest. Coleman saying this. God, I wish we had Linda. Move on. She's gone crazy. I suggest not many, especially the better ones. Skamaka is not in the side. Then 100% he's gone at the sea in the summer. We need to go back and fire and stay up. If that takes a new manager like Rafa, so be it. Ariana, any day. Fab, too many things to mention. Shot saving anywhere close. Oh dear. Go to the confession. Say that happen, right? What we got here? Rafa won't get us playing football. Yeah, and so is people. Tom Tuchel is exactly the same. When was the last time a manager took a club to Europe and then got relegated the following season? Well, we actually did that in 19. Well, when we won the FA Cup in 1980, didn't we? We didn't. We was already in the Championship, in essence, or League One or Division One, and didn't we get to the quarters? We lost to Tbilisi. We were playing Championship football, and I think Wigan did it as well. Can't really blame for not being interested in training because he knows not one. Yeah. I've heard we do no ball work in training. It's just running. It's exactly why we're so poor. Can't pass. Well, that's quite. Well, I got. Where's my? I was going to do a thing. Where is it? Is it self-listed? It was an article from David Vitesse, who's Skamaka's mate, and it goes against that, Jim. To be honest, talks about how intense, particularly compared to Serie A, the Premier League training is. But anyway, I get what you're saying, Skamaka, but Moyes still plays other players in week in, week out, regardless of form in those 90 minutes. That's what I mean. That's all I'm trying to. I'm just trying to. I'm always trying to think why. There's got to be a logical reason. When people say, "Oh, he doesn't know what he's doing," there's got to be a thought process there. So I'm trying to figure it out. And I listened to Fletcher when he was saying about, you only see 90 minutes of a microcosm of an entire football club. And I get that totally. I do understand that, and yeah, maybe he does. He will have favourites. He will have favourites as well. Every manager does. This all goes back to the summer window. Wanted Skamaka, ain't prove it playing because he never wanted him. Interesting. If there's the player somehow, what is he going to do on the bench? Put the young in his place. I agree. You need to win the game yesterday. He takes up a striker, brings on a winger who's been out. Now, Steve, I know. See, some of Skamaka should have been on the pitch when Paqueta came off, but not for the Ings substitution. I knew you could see what he's trying to do for me. He was trying to balls over the top, Cornet's blistering pace, and it could have worked, but didn't work. But I don't agree he did it in spite or a dig at Skamaka, because actually that's a different role he was put. Skamaka would have gone clean through on goal from the halfway line, sprinting past, but Cornet could. Now, I'm not saying the tactic was right, but you can see why I was doing it. I don't think it was as a that was as a slight on Skamaka. He should have been on the pitch when Paqueta came off, and he took Paqueta off because he was going to get a red card because he was always one more city challenge and he would have been off, and then we wouldn't have had him for 4 games, and then we missed probably one of our most creative players in the club. No Total hasn't helped. We haven't played well. I agree. Didn't get Broach, who's been out all season. Exactly. As it happens, Liverpool have done his part, strung along the money. I mean, he'll be gone in the summer. And then he'll probably come back to us. I hope Skamaka's dad doesn't turn up to valet Moyes' car. Too late, totally reason. I might do him as a separate video later on. Rusty Moyes, indeed. Yes, intense, but no ball work. You think teams like just run 15 miles? I don't think it's like the channel. Moving on. Yeah, exactly. Moving on. Manager regarding players to me is the worst I've seen. Cornet, Skamaka and Bowen should be our front 3 with Belly behind. Nice. Always show 5 minutes of passing the official. He's not the man for putting politely, if you want me to say it nicely. Yeah, no worries. Right, I'm going to have to go, guys. Again, second week running, we do the rating show without any ratings. That's quite impressive. So I do apologise for the Trade Descriptions Act. If I might, we've got some stories to pull out at lunch this afternoon. For Hammer's headlines about all that Jose Mourinho photo bollocks. I've debunked that completely. And then the news at 10, I might put a quick ratings thing up just as like a little video, just otherwise just to tick the box basically. And yeah, then we start getting ready for the Larnaca game. Anyway, guys, as always, this is your show. This is not my show. This is your show. And we were going to do the ratings, but it was a really, really good debate, and I appreciate you all. But at the end of the day, we're all West Ham, innit? We might have differing opinions. Most of yours are differing to mine, but we're all West Ham, innit? And yeah, give it a thumbs up. Much appreciated. Thanks, Fred, very, very much. As I said, if you're new around here, other people have got different opinions. We had Irish Tommy, his opinion yesterday with Luke, which was quite a good show. Anton as well. We all have. That's what we try and do. We try and have different people in front of you who have different views, because I think it's important sometimes. I think it's important. Look, I know I'll get dragged out in the comments, but that's just my opinion, and it's just, it's valid, same as yours anyway, guys. Take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith, my friends. We're always staying, and there's Bob Hoskins and Michael said, it's good to talk. No, wrong one. It's good to talk. Take care, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Bye-bye. Take care.